Hello, I'm going to do the Capricorn love reading for Monday, December 27th. And this may or may not resonate with you. If it does, take what does. If it does not, leave what does not. All right, so we have wedding. This situation involves marriage, crossed by forgiving and learning. Okay? And it says, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. So it could be that you are in a committed relationship and there's some forgiving and learning. There's a situation that you have to work through. All right, so let's get some tarot. And any long-term relationship, any relationship, is going to have its ups and downs. And the longer you're with someone, sometimes if you haven't figured out how to move past things, then, you know, those ups and downs can become bigger until the two of you can learn to work things out. And how are you going to handle things, okay, if something comes up or something happens? Are you sweeping it under the rug and ignoring it and then it all explodes at once? Or, you know, are you kind of confronting it, or are you fully working through it? All right, so what do we have going on for the foundation of this situation? I kind of feel like these two here. Okay, yep. The Tower and the Four of Wands. We have the Seven of Wands. We have the Three of Swords. Definitely forgiving and learning. Three of Swords right there. The Magician, the Star, the King of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and Justice. So I feel like normally you just kind of, you're able to work through things. Like you're able to kind of go with the flow. But I feel like there's also something that's been maybe on your mind, that it's come time for you to stand up for yourself. It's come time for you to say something, that there's something that happened. The Three of Swords can be that obviously your heart has been stabbed 3 times, that you've been hurt really bad, or it can also represent separation, like a disconnect. Either it could be a separation that physically the two of you are not living in the same area, so it's a long distance relationship, or it could also represent, to me, like that mental connection where it's just like the two of you it's like you're living with a roommate, you know, there's just not, that connection isn't there anymore. For the foundation of the situation, we had these 2 cards come out, and it's the Four of Wands and the Tower, and I feel like it's that connection. This has to be rebuilt, okay? Something has to be rebuilt. Something has to be torn down, and something has to be rebuilt, and I feel like it has to do with how do you handle situations within this relationship when there are problems. Do you work on them, or you just kind of like, oh, let's just sweep that under the rug? Or maybe it's you're agreeing and you're saying yes just to say yes because you don't want to cause an argument. But I feel like in that situation, sometimes it's like pick your battles. Yes, I agree. But then sometimes it's like if it's really important to you, Seven of Wands energy, if it's really important to you, it needs to be resolved so that you feel that it's balanced, that you feel that it's in your favor, that you feel that it's a solution that you feel comfortable with, okay? And making those things happen. We have the infinity sign, which represents individual empowerment and everlasting love. And to have that everlasting love, you have to find those things that make it happen. What is that formula to make that happen so that you're not in this space again, that when this happens again, that it's not just swept under the rug, but it's something that's dealt with. And that's part of learning in a relationship, is how do we deal with these situations, and that will be telling within your relationships is how well that you work with those things. All right, so we had this one just fall out, and it's the Seven of Wands again, okay? Seven of Wands again. What are those things that are going to work for you? What are those things that you have to talk about, okay? What are those things that make you feel emotionally better? And I feel like, you know, this has multi-purpose here. I feel like this is for you, so you feel emotionally better. I feel like it's a connection of this relationship. It's rebuilding this relationship stronger and better. All right. Getting the cup to overflow. Making those decisions. Okay. What are those decisions that you're going to make about this Three of Swords? What is it that you're going to do about it? Also, Two of Swords represents looking at something from both sides, looking at both sides of the sword, like looking at both sides of the situation, not only having your side, but the other person's side, you know, being able to look at that. All right, for the Magician, holding yourself back, waiting until the time is right, making things work. She has like the sun like bursting through her palms, ready to be set free, okay? For the Star card, Prince of Wands, Page of Wands. I like that card with the dragons. That's about taking action, okay? Page of Wands is also about communication, communicating. It's an email, a text, a phone call, a discussion. Empress. Empress can represent birth and marriage, okay? Represents growing, evolving this relationship. For thoughts and concerns, we have the Wheel of Fortune. You know, you're concerned, like what's going to happen? What does the future bring? But obviously that's a concern with all things, but it's like how are you going to deal with this situation? Are you just going to let it go? I feel like the Six of Cups represents a long-term relationship, but I feel like it also represents like getting back to that happy place where the two of you have been, where you felt happy, where you were playful, where you felt more connected. All right. We have the Moon card, and I feel like it's things to come that will go in your favor, but also balancing out. Also, not deceiving yourself about the things that you want within this relationship. Okay. And then for the middle, we have the Six of Swords. Yeah, moving forward, there's always going to be obstacles, okay? I feel like this is a really good Six of Swords because we have all of this crazy activity in the back, and they are in this calmer water, but there's also these swords that are sticking up to say that, yes, like you're moving forward, but there's always going to be issues. Like I was saying from the beginning, how are you going to handle those, okay? This is success and victory. How are you going to handle those? How are you going to handle these things that come up in the future? Are you going to let it get to this point again, or are you going to do something about it? Standing up for what you believe in, making the choices that are best for you, communicating. Communicate. It's the hardest thing, but it's the most important thing. Communication and trust. I feel that those two things are very important within any type of relationship, friendship, family, business, partnership. And that presents a lot of growth. I feel like there's a lot of growing here. A lot of learning. Kind of a new way to look at this relationship here. All right, so let's go for the Animal Oracle. Let's see, we have Dolphin Spirit. It's funny because I was looking at the King of Cups and I was just feeling water, and then the dolphin came out. This and that are true. some things are true, some things aren't true. Maybe that's why you need to have this forgiving and learning, because you have to find out what's true and what's not true. What are you assuming, but what has really happened? What is your side of the story? What is, you know, like I've said before, is that sometimes when you send a text message, you have one, you're sending it with one intention, and that person who receives it, sometimes they receive it in a different way than what you were intending to send it with. And I feel like maybe that's a situation here, is that maybe there was this miscommunication that went on, and then that kind of, you kind of swept that under the rug, and then that kind of evolved to something more. But instead of assuming, it's time to get down to business and figure out what exactly went on, so that the air can be cleared, and then next time not letting it go so long. If it was a misinterpretation, getting to it at that time. If it was a misinterpretation, getting to it at that time, so it doesn't evolve to something bigger. All right, thank you so much for watching. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.